Welcome back to RLCS Overtime, where all the points are made up, and it doesn't matter because, you know, standings are just a thing for what is a standing, you know?
Who cares?
You know, so yeah.
We don't need it.
Don't need to talk about standings. What does matter, hard facts and hard numbers here. The players are all playing for different sorts of accolades, different sorts of awards at the end of the season based on their performance. Did them last season. Well, if you weren't here, we'll get you caught up on how it all works here. Starting off with the Golden Striker. This is an award that we're going to award to the most offensive players, awarded to the clinical finisher who records the most goals per games in league play for their region. You can see Fireburner down there, won it for North America. Cooks here from Europe, and from OCE, it was Drip A, Carpet's favorite pick from week number 1, Fantasy, that earned him no points.
I'm sure if he had played, he would have gotten me so many points.
Yep.
But, you know, they wouldn't let him play. They were holding him back.
But right now, Fireburner was a back-to-back goals per game champion, Season 2, Season 3. He's not even in the top 5 right now, but Gimmick is leading by a lot, and he's also played 3 series. So some of these guys are going to play 1 series, and their average is probably more high, like a high variance. So it could be extremely high or extremely low. So Gimmick right now is looking pretty good for that Golden Striker in North America, at least.
Yeah, Gimmick at 1.45, and then Matt and Sizz are tied for kind of down there, the bottom of the top 5 at 0.94.
I find that the funniest one, that Matt and Sizz are both tied in 4th place. Like they're
twins.
They play pretty much the same role with each other. They're just passing it to each other back and forth, which really, as I guess, a really cool showcase of like how evenly they really do distribute the play styles of whether they're passers or strikers. Like, we know you can do it, so they're just perfectly tied at 4th place. It's pretty great.
So now moving on, you know, the thing that helps out the shooter is going to be the playmaker here, awarded to the cunning player who records the most assists per game in league play for their region. Fireburner won the Striker Award last season for North America, so it's only fitting that Jacob would win the assist. And Mystic, who's now on the same team as Cookser, was not last season, though, so that
almost worked.
It doesn't quite work out there, and Express won it over there for Drip A.
Yeah, we see this season, we saw the fact that just a second ago, Matt and Sizz, I should say, very high up on the shooting. 3rd place right now on the assists per game is Insolences, who is just giving them every single opportunity to try and go for those shots.
And we didn't mention it on the EU side. Right now, Pashy #1 in Europe for goals. And then no surprise, he's got Fairy Peak tied at 1st for assists as well. So those guys clearly working.
1 series.
That is definitely not the most accurate stat.
They've only played the 1 series, but still, it's impressive. Actually, Pashy has he's leading the entire league right now at 1.6 goals per game. But again, as I said, only 1 series. We'll get to see him play some more here in week 3, and excited to see where they go now. Moving over to the defensive side of things, how does the saves work? Savior of the season is awarded to the player who racks up the highest amount of saves per game in league play for their region. Memory and won it for North America. That was on Set to Destroy. Fricky from Penta in Europe, and then Outlast from OCE. And commonly, as we've talked about down through the seasons, this is an award it's a good thing to see the players doing, but it's almost an award you kind of almost don't want to have because it means that you're having to play a lot of defense. You know, Memory on Set to Destroy, they had a pretty lackluster season and they had to play so much defense that they end up racking up the most saves there.
Yeah, so for both North America plus Europe, they didn't make playoffs. But this season, Magnus right now, I think he's in 4th right now in saves per game, and Method is 4-0. So sometimes saves are good, but you got to make sure you save all of them. That's the problem. So right now, Method is doing that job. We'll see if that continues going forward.
Classics is leading over here for North America right now, and they're sitting undefeated right now, having defeated NRG. Again, only really playing 1 series, so the stat doesn't matter as much. But pretty cool stuff to see that these guys are, you know, racking up those numbers, and we'll see how they look as we move through the season as we go on. But also want to talk about OCE here. Don't really talk about the OCE players all that much, so we're going to see what Yummy has to say about the OCE accolades.
G'day everyone, I'm going to give you my predictions on the player accolades for Season 4 and OCE. Of course, CJ is going to definitely take the Golden Striker Award, one of the best strikers in the OCE region right now. For the clutch playmaker, you can't go past Jake from Chiefs eSports Club. He can connect with Torsos and Drip A excellently. They always know where each other are. For the Goalkeeper Award, I can't go past Zest, who is on Noisy Isn't Toxic, one of the rising teams, but he knows where to be. He's always ready for defense. And then, of course, for my MVP award, I have to go with potentially the best player in the region right now, Express from Jam Gaming.
Thanks so much, Yummy Cheese Man. You heard him there at the end talking about the MVP award. North American Europe has that as well, given out to the player who contributed the most to their team success in league play for their region. Jacob was the North American MVP. KDOP, the European last season. And NRG, you can see that they dominated the awards here for North America, and in many ways still on course to do it again. But this is the most difficult season they've had. If there was ever a season where I could see somebody taking it from them, Cloud9 possibly, this might be the season. And
plus, like, this isn't based on stats necessarily, so we can be bought. Simple as that. Because we vote for the MVP. Just throw us some money on PayPal, we'll be good to go.
Have some decency, man.
Just earn me points on my fantasy team.
Exactly, there you go.
So something that I've noticed too, and this could just be mostly because I'm in games, but we see a lot more games that are like 1 goal, like 1 to 2, and then like 6 to 4 or 3. So a lot of times I feel like that, especially the goals stat, I don't want to say is skewed, but I think it's going to be much more difficult for teams that like to keep the low scoring, less, I don't know, risky style plays. So the teams that like to play a little safer are the ones that are like, they might not end up on the goals, but they still can end up on assists per game or saves in that kind of sense, potentially. I don't know. It's really hard to say, but things are
they could.
Different.
It's going to be much larger this season because there's been a lot more goals per game than we've been used to seeing. It's been a lot higher scoring. I don't know if the defense is going to start tightening up or anything like that, but I'm only surprised we saw multiple players above 1 goal per game this season.
Yeah, well, we'll see how things progress as the season heads along. Definitely stay tuned to Overtime if you want to stay updated with accolades and all of that. Guys, it's been a great show. Got one more segment. Gonna have some fun. Haven't already had enough fun, I guess. Like, dislikes coming up. Everybody's favorite game show. Stick around. We'll be right back.